We now interrupt your regularly scheduled Saturday morning bull crap for earlier bull crap. It's Levack and Goz. I'm going to consider where I am live in the Tech East studios because, well, they pay my mortgage. So so I'm here at Levack's Folly. Goz is over. Goz, are you home or are you at your parents'?
I'm at my parents' place right now. I had the traditional sock Christmas party exchange last night with a bunch of my friends from back home. So
What'd you
I'm
get?
right now, and
Flash the socks. What's up?
no, I can't flat. That they're leaning on right now. As I say, they're leaning on my computer right now, so that can't work.
What do they look like?
I got Superman socks because Rex is in attendance, so he wanted the Superman socks. So he's got some
Oh,
sweet Superman socks, and then he's off to dinosaur world with his grandparents today. So
Dinosaur World?
yeah, I guess it's like I think it was on Shark Tank at some point. So he is
Oh, is it
off
like
to
one
go.
of those where you walk through the park and there's like dinosaurs?
Yeah,
And okay. In this
yeah,
weather,
yeah,
huh?
yeah.
What's it like out
No,
there?
no, it's inside. It's inside.
Oh, okay, okay. 'Cause I think there's one around here that's like an outdoor trail. I'm almost positive.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean I don't know that for sure because I only half pay attention to everything that I'm not saying. And I pay even less attention to the shit I say. So yeah, that's cool. All right, Superman socks. Superman's always a winner. Always a winner to go with the soups. You know, good. Listen, always be yourself unless you can be Superman, and then be Superman. All right, so I look like absolute dog shit, and I apologize. I don't know, like I have these kind of allergies that make my eyes get all puffy and watery like all the time. I don't have like I don't cough, I barely sneeze, but my eyes get nasty. And with the weather going like hey, it's freezing. Welcome to winter. Nah, just kidding. It's still fall. No, it's summer. No, it's winter. Like I look like I was up raging last night. I had like three of those Bud Light colas, the hard colas last night, and I chilled out. That's it. That's all I had. So I'm not hungover. I'm just ugly.
I've never had one of those colas. Now, like, there's a part of me that's thinking, man, I kind of would like them to be a sponsor, get them on the show, see what they taste like.
They got the hard soda. You haven't had the hard sodas yet?
No.
So this is the deal, right? I feel very ghetto buying the 24 ounces, grabbing the deuces, but the 12 pack comes with the cola, the orange, the grape, and I want to say like a cherry. I can't even remember what the other one. Oh no, a lemon lime. I'm sorry, that's what it is. Yeah, so it's a orange, grape, lemon lime, and cola. The lemon lime I like, but the grape and the orange are so sweet. Like if you don't like sweet sodas, like they're not good. They're good, but they're not like what I like. The cola tastes like generic store brand cola. Like it doesn't taste like Coke. It doesn't taste like Pepsi. Like if you've ever bought like Price Chopper cola or Hannaford cola, whatever those, it tastes just like that, but it's like 5% alcohol. It's amazing. I enjoy it. It's a good time. So I grabbed a couple of those on the way home yesterday. Rocked those back. That's it though. The point is, I just look like crap. There's no reason that besides allergies, genetics, and just you have eyesight that I look like crap, but it's real. It happened. Guys turned the cameras on this morning. Went, oh God, what happened to Jeff? And I was like, yeah, it was bad.
Well, I don't think you looked as bad as USC last night, or right? Is that the way we played this? I want to say they played bad, but I don't even know if they really did. Caleb Williams
got onto a
hurt.
great start. Yeah, great start, and they fell off. But all right, wrestling terms. I've had to speak a lot of wrestling terms lately in the office because Benny Ice. Every player on Utah looks like a member of the Anoa family. Like every one of them is thick. Like they run like fast as lightning, and they're big dudes. Like they are trucking dudes. It was crazy. Every time I'd flip back and forth for something or whatever, I come back and here's a dude who's just thick with like two C's, and he is just trucking the ball down the field. I'm like, dude, my Utah bet's feeling pretty strong right now. I'm just watching freaking who's the enforcer for the bloodline now?
Oh, the Roman Reigns? Are you talking
no, they
Solo?
got that new kid. Yeah, Solo. Like I got Solo as my quarterback, so I feel pretty good about the world. It's gonna be a good time. So Utah get to. I mean, I feel like they out toughed USC. I feel like they were tougher and meaner than USC.
Yes, that's exactly it. And that bet going into the game, the fact that USC was at 2.5 we're going to go back maybe at the end of the year and say, what were the biggest sucker bets of the year? That is on the list of one of the biggest sucker bets of the year to take USC. I'm glad your money was on Utah. There's a part of me that, and I'll explain this a little bit, why I did not want to bet. I wanted USC to win. I
wanted USC to win as well. I'm with you. And
but
my reason is way more petty than yours, I think.
the Utah matchup you mentioned, more physical, better on defense. USC's biggest weakness all season long has been tackling. And I know out loud in a football team, 13 games into the season, tackling. Brock Hewer did a great job on the broadcast last night, talking like, hey, you just got to tackle people. I know they're bigger than you, but
I'm literally watching 87 run through the defensive back right now.
The thing with USC, awesome. Best wide receiver, Jordan Addison. Caleb Williams comes in. Lincoln Riley, you're doing transfer you. Most people who have a season like that are 2 to 3 years away from competing. If it was the old college days, you probably were got to go to the AD and be like, it's going to be a while. We don't have any players. We got nothing going here. But Utah was bigger, more physical, and it's cool to see for the second consecutive year a school like Utah in the Rose Bowl. Like it just looks a little different with their team name in the end zone in Pasadena when we're used to so many of the same old schools.
Yeah, like Lincoln Riley this year gave you a master class on the transfer portal, how to use it, how to make it work. Because, Colin Cowherd has to be the biggest USC apologist to ever walk the face of the planet. Like, he's somewhere on that man's body. He has a USC Trojan tattoo. But even he was, like, amazed by how fast this group melded together. Because they did. It was pretty amazing to take, what they had, 9 transfers starting or something like that. I mean, like, some ridiculous. My cat's going crazy. I'm sorry. So it was really impressive. The reason I couldn't really lose last night is I had a nice little bit of money on, very responsible, nice amount of money on Utah. So I was going to win. I won cash, but the problem is that means Ohio State's in the freaking playoff, right? Like Ohio State is now in the playoffs. Unless like something crazy happens, it's now going to be what? Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and that's why I was rooting for USC, because you look at Ohio State, you and I watched that game together. You watch Ohio State throughout the entire season. I don't know why they should be in it. I don't get it. Like, okay, they beat Penn State. They beat Notre Dame week 1, the same Notre Dame team that later on lost to Marshall and Stanford. But Notre Dame's a whole different team compared to the team they played back in August. So because they have one loss, they should be in. I'm struggling with the Ohio State thing. And look, we could do a really good comparison here between 2014 and 2022. And some people may not even remember this. I had a conversation with somebody last night. We're like, wait, that was the thing? I was like, yeah. In the first year of the college football playoff, remember, Ohio State got in that year. I believe that's the year with Zeke Elliott and everybody who wins the national championship because they win the Big Ten title game. TCU,
right, they had that amazing stomp down it because that was the one that everybody was amazed. I predicted it happened, but I could just see it.
Cardell Jones, right?
Yeah,
right. That was the Cardell Jones team. So they win the Big Ten championship, and because of that victory, TCU gets bumped out because there's no Big 12 title game for them to basically improve their resume. Now, 8 years later, Ohio State gets in because they're not playing at a conference championship game. And I don't think whether they win or lose, I don't think TCU is getting bumped because of the USC result. But that's more of the big issue where it's like, okay, Ohio State's going to go in and get rewarded and be in the championship for what reason other than they just played bad teams all season long. That's what I find frustrating about it.
Here's the, like, as a Michigan fan, here is the curse of it is, that is a super talented team. And if somehow this falls, like let's say Georgia's really unimpressive, but still wins. Like they're just blah, but Michigan just goes and destroys the fighting Jay Larkin's, Professor Larkin's favorite team, the Purdue Boilermakers, which I'm pretty sure he only likes them because they're named after a drink. And like Michigan gets 1 and Ohio State gets 4. I don't want to play Ohio State like back-to-back kind of deal. Like, you know what I mean? I know Purdue's in the way, but I just like, well, because even no matter what, you just, that's a team that has you scouted better than any other team you're going to play. Like if I'm Michigan and I get the 2 seed and I get a piece of TCU, that's a fun game. TCU has a bunch of athletes. They can do what they need to do, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Michigan's going to be a touchdown, maybe an 8-point favorite in that game.
Ooh, funny you mentioned that. Okay, so I almost did this as like a tease. I should have posted this on social and tagged Chad, big Michigan fan,
Right.
you, the whole Ohio State versus Michigan group of people. I got everybody going because
Our friend Julia.
yeah, it's it's possible like that can happen, and I totally get it as a Michigan fan why you don't
Ohio
want
State
it
would
to
still be a
happen.
fative. Like I saw some odds makers who
Two and a
right after
half
the
you
game.
saw, right?
Yeah,
Two and a half.
yes,
Yep.
yeah. And it wasn't just one, it was a couple. And there's people that like, you're pretty good at dropping the odds, before they come out, usually within about half a point. There's a couple other people I know who are all right around there. Like, yeah, probably 1.5 to 2.5, somewhere in that range. I'm like, we just took him behind the woodshed. They're like, yeah, but you know what, man? They're still the more talented. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and now that Blake Corum's definitely not playing. And granted, Blake Corum had one carry, but still, that's a matchup that it's weird. You're going to be the underdog versus being the favorite. But the beauty of it is, the good part is watching Ohio State fans now go around and go, well, we only have one loss, and it was to Michigan. And I mean, you know how good, or Michigan or whatever, they still try to, that school up north, and they have to say how good Michigan is. They now have to go around and be like, and they're like the number one team in the country right now, and they're the only team that could beat us, so we should be in. And it's just fun to watch that happen, like that masterpiece of just backtracking and bullshit from Buckeye fan is makes almost all of it worth it. But I don't want to see them. I really don't. Can you imagine if they get lucky and beat us now? No thanks. No, I don't want that. I'd rather get it by Georgia again than deal with that.
It almost feel like Carolina Duke in the Final Four. The only difference of that is nobody's retiring like Coach K. Like
Right.
it would have that type of feel to it, where it's like,
Yeah.
wow, an historic game is happening here. 16 years ago, and it was Chad Henne, Mike Hart, Troy Smith. People thought that should have been the national championship that year, anyways. And now it actually could happen. And also, one other thing to add to this college football weekend, like, this one hurts a little bit. This is supposed to be one of the most exciting weekends of the college football year. Maybe besides week one when everybody's kicking off. It always has that like NFL week one vibe, like it's anybody's season. This is supposed to be the chaos week where it's like, if this happens, then this team's out and blah, blah, blah. It's not like that this year. And we're 2 years away from the college football playoff now that the Rose Bowl agreed. So 2024, the playoff is coming. So we got one more year, the 4 teams. But this kind of is a like the results have already been locked in. And I'm glad TCU's going to get in. If TCU even gets smoked by Kansas State today, I think they're getting in.
If they get smoked, there's got to be something, right? All right, wait, let me give you the chaos scenario. Because again, the best marquee game was last night, and that was Utah USC. That's the one that, like, I know Michigan Big Ten championship 8:00 tonight. I'm gonna be dialed in, but Michigan's a 17-point favorite. So obviously there's not as much drama there on the pre-sale. Who knows what's gonna happen when they kick off? But like, here's the scenario that you need to tell me doesn't happen, right? LSU wins by a field goal over Georgia. Great game, knockdown, drag out, whatever. TCU gets smoked by Kansas State. Is that where we're looking at Michigan 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, LSU 4?
No.
LSU can't jump?
No.
People love LSU right now. They love LSU.
Here's the problem with LSU too, right? Like LSU has an opportunity to improve and all that other stuff and like maybe put their name in the mix. I wouldn't think so because look at the teams ahead of them, right? Like Bama lost to LSU, but they've only got 2 losses. Now, Alabama fan could argue, yeah, we've got 2 losses, but don't forget our 2 losses came on the last play of the game. Yeah, you also won 2 games on the last play of the game. So you don't get to like use that one as a backup. LSU with 3 losses, I can't see them doing it. Here's the thing with Tennessee. Now, Tennessee's at 7, and they're barely at 7. Hendon Hooker not playing is a huge part of this because let's say Hooker was still healthy. Wouldn't Tennessee be the team up? Now, someone would say, hey, it's not fair that Tennessee's below Alabama when you beat them. Yeah, but they're also not better. Like, they probably can't do that again with the backup quarterback. So it's hard for me to make a case past Ohio State who would be the team to jump. If there's any team out there that's probably pissing themselves, like Washington, the Huskies, how about you guys? You guys would have had 1 loss. You would have played in the Pac-12 championship. You would have had a chance between USC and Washington to make it happen. But for whatever reason, you lost to the Herm Edwards list Arizona State Sun Devils, one of the weirdest, dumbest losses of the season. So Washington, you can blame yourselves. And Clemson, you guys also stink.
There's the one. There's the one. Watch Clemson go out and just annihilate North Carolina. All those other things happen, like I said. And then somebody in that room goes, it'd be nice to have, another one of the Power Five represented. Why don't we move Clemson in? And then all of a sudden we've got everybody, like somebody's out there talking about kumbaya fair play. And now we've got a team that's like in Clemson that's just going to be a big old turd in the punch bowl and get absolutely smoked by whoever the number 1 seed is.
I hope for chaos here. My poor mom is now trying to get a hold of me. I hear her downstairs. I hope she can text me, trying to figure out where Rex is. So hopefully while she's texting me, I'm going to talk about.
If you need me to fill while you go find your child, I'm okay with it.
I'm gonna text her right now. But while I'm texting, so I am listening. It's time to talk about Lily and David Fine Jewelers, located Route 50, the shops of Wilton. I just saw Alyssa earlier this week.
Did you? How is she?
Yeah,
by the way,
she's awesome. She's the best. I love her. She's awesome. I have some more information to tell you about all that stuff, and Alyssa's going to find out more information. That's all for the future for a podcast, but it's going on right now, the holiday season. You can make sure you get her something great this holiday season, whatever it might be, whether it's the necklace, the earring, or some of you are thinking about popping the question, proposing this holiday season. Get the right ring wherever you are listening. I was hanging out with some of my buddies yesterday who are still not engaged, not married. There's no pressure unless I'm talking about right here. Right here at Jewelers. Stop right here. Lily and David Fine Jewelers can help you find it. Alyssa, David, and the entire crew. Shout out to Tammy as well. Everybody over there helping you find exactly what you're looking for, and more importantly, her this holiday season. Stop in Route 50, the shops of Wilton. Tell me you heard about my story, my engagement ring, wedding band, and more. It all happened at Lily and David Fine Jewelers.
Biggest compliment I can give Alyssa and the crew at Lily and David is like I kind of look at them like the way people look at their inner circle of friends and family, right? Because like if I'm dating somebody, I have no problem. Like, if you and I are getting a beer and she wants to swing by, hey, meet Goz, whatever, no problem. If I get to that point where I'm like, I want you to meet Alyssa and the people at Lily and David, like you better be special before I let you meet Alyssa. You know what I'm saying? Because I know Alyssa's bull poop monitor is a strong one. I can just imagine walking in with some like friggin' stripper and Alyssa going, what the F are you doing? Right in front of her. What are you doing? And I thank her for that. She has that, she has permission to be blunt with me. That's why that's like one of the last lines of like my family, whatever, they'll be fine. I know they do what they're told. But like people like Alyssa in your life, met Lorianne at Dr. Integrative Sleep Center and Alyssa are two people that use their bull poop monitor is very strong. I don't bring anybody around them. I'm not 100% confident about.
Be aware. And guys, there you go. When you're buying the gift this holiday season, she will tell you if you thought, oh wow, I think this looks great, this could work. She'll be like, no, it doesn't. Like,
no, she's not gonna like that. It doesn't. Yeah, right. Listen, you told me some of her other choices. You take some pictures of her jewelry, bring them in. This is the stuff she likes. Alyssa will help you find the rest. That's what it's a team. She's not just a jewelry store and the crew there isn't just a jewelry store. They're like counselors. They figure it out. They got Goz married for Pete's sake.
Update on why my mom was saying my name downstairs. It sounds as if my dad was locked outside.
Why didn't sorry. He just climbed. I imagine TG2 just climbed up the side. CrossFit Kringle came down the chimney. That's all.
Got the early workout and then post workout.
Came up the lattice that you guys did. He built the lattice just so you could climb up it. Yeah, I'm not worried about him. He's fine. USA. It's a tough one today because so people that know soccer didn't think we would get out of the group stage to the knockout round. Now we're here, and it's like, well, we're playing really, really well, but the Dutch are pretty good. And the only guy I know who posts about the Dutch is my buddy Mevison, who runs PBR for the Northeast because he is Dutch, and he's in like full orange. By the way, the fan gear looks like they're coming from a correctional facility and that's just tough, man. That's scary. When your other team's fan gear looks like prison jumpsuits, you got to take that team seriously. You can't mess around.
No, you can't mess with them. This might be a too young of a take by me, and there have been times on the history of the Levack and Goz show where I've questioned the, let's say, like I said, like I like the Canadian national anthem. I think that's the best one around. I think that's pretty cool. There have been other times where I've given other countries credit for something they do well, and it seems as if it's come off as anti-American for whatever reason.
Yep.
But in my lifetime, and maybe more people in their mid 30s, God, that was hard to say out loud, to like their later 20s, always struggled to view the USA as an underdog. Like it's hard for me in my lifetime to be like, even going into this game, like I know people think like we're the underdog, and I'm like, no, we're the USA. Like we can beat them. Like we got this. Like I can't go into a loss thinking like, oh, USA is probably going to lose. Like maybe that's the coolest mindset to have as an American sports fan now, that I always think every match game we go into, there's a chance that we can do this thing. That's why I always wonder if like the miracle on ice is gonna over the
with
time.
the exception of Olympic basketball, we're always the underdog. 1776, we were the underdog. You know, we didn't get into the world wars until it looked like they were lost. We've always been the underdog, guys. The 80, the miracle on ice. The USA is the underdog. That's what we do. We're the ones they sleep on. And then we just boom. We never lose. That's what we do. See, now you got me fired up. We're like Rocky, man. We're one good workout montage to 80s hair metal away from kicking your ass, Dutch. Take that, Netherlands.
Don't even show up today. Don't even come to the pitch.
How about Netherlands kisses my nether regions? How's that, huh? Yeah. All right, let's go. 10 o'clock today. At the time of this taping, we're what, 38, 39, 40 minutes away or whatever?
Yes.
I'm ready. I'm fired up. Ready to go.
Was it the great Nigel Powers from Austin Powers that he only hates two people in its entire world? People who are not respectful of other people's cultures, and the Dutch.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You see the Barstool hype video? Barstool's got like a whole hype video they put out today that I was dying. I was watching.
Is he in it?
Yeah, that's how it opens.
Nice. We mentioned this earlier at the start of the World Cup. We talked about 2022 versus 2026. Now, I think I do have to clarify this. We mentioned in 2026 that the World Cup will be in the United States, but also the bid was won by Canada, Mexico, and the United States. So I don't know if that changes our opinion of the importance of the 2026 World Cup, of what it means for the country. Does that change your take at all of like, let's, for the sake of this conversation, say the U.S. goes down, the more important one is coming for, I guess, the popularity of soccer 4 years from now in the country, especially if you're younger sports fans?
I'll tell you what. I don't care if they play in Qatar, Mexico City, Quebec, U.S., the moon, my backyard. When it feels like 80% of the games end in a freaking tie, it's never going to be super popular. Like, we got to have winners and losers and whatever. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times I've looked down at my DraftKings app and said, well, I'm not going to bet a draw. That's stupid. Why would I root for a draw? And almost every one of those freaking games has ended in a draw. So, like, the one thing the U.S. team is missing, and if they do lose this game or the next one, is a striker, like a knockout, just score machine. Because Captain America there, Pulisic, he's a very, very good player. He did take a nasty dick kick last game, so hopefully his boys are better. But we need that guy who can just kick it through the back of the net, just like repeatedly, because we just don't have that guy. So if they do lose today, which they won't, they'll win today, or at least, they'll draw or win today. In the next 4 years, they need to have that guy who just kick it across the middle and watch him just bury it every time. So that's what's missing. That's what we need. And as soon as we get that, that's when you get the chance for popularity, because that moment of like winning games instead of tying them will be gigantic.
Love it. Love that take. And especially with the last 30 years in sports, there's always been that figure, that athlete that like, hey, you got to tune into basketball because Michael Jordan or LeBron is playing. You got to tune in. Even like in baseball, they want to do that with Ken Griffey Jr. for a long time, and Bonds and McGuire. And so that's a whole different debate of how that came together. But, we get the names of why you can't miss this. Even in the single person sports, the Serena Williamses. Love it. If it's going to happen, it has to happen like that. And it has to happen where this guy is going to be the difference. Also, I just went through the 2026 sites. They're using 16 different stadiums
Yeah.
in 4 years. So it's a bunch of, I thought it was only like 4 or 5 cities. It's like
I think
11 US cities.
Is it 11? I thought it was 4 or 5 US, and then the rest were scattered amongst.
It's scattered all over the
Americas.
place. That's what I'm trying to figure out exactly. Like maybe they're different rounds and everything else of how it's.
Because what Foxborough has some. Is it does MetLife have or no?
Yep.
It's
a bunch of them. Like the biggest stadiums you can think of in the country, plus Mexico, plus Canada. Which in my head, I'm all of a sudden like, wait a second, why are we using all these stadiums? How many does Qatar have? And I'm thinking,
no,
probably not as many. But
well, there's two reasons that we're doing it the way we're doing it. In my humble opinion, reason number one, we don't want the deaths of 1,000 migrant workers on our heads. Qatar doesn't really care about that. Reason number two, it's kind of like what you said. Like if I'm a fringe soccer fan or somebody who just wants to root for the USA, I'll travel to MetLife. I'll travel to Foxborough. I'm not going to freaking SoCom. I'm not doing it. SoFi or whatever the frick it is. I'm not going to LA. I'm not going to Atlanta. Hell, I'm not going to Pennsylvania. Like I'm not going that far for football, but I'll go 2-3 hours. So if I scatter all over the country, I have a better chance of adding new fans right here in the US.
That plus, let's say it's Group A. You don't have to move everybody. All right, Group A, here's where you're housed. Here's where you're going to be. I wonder if they had to improve their bid for the World Cup in comparison to 2010. Like, all right, we know you screwed us in 06 and 2010. We're going to give you guys everything you want. There's not going to be a question about where you're sleeping, where you're staying, how you're coming in.
And that's it too. I mean, you think about, like, we have the unique perspective of going to a bunch of the Super Bowl cities. Like, Super Bowl means a week of restricted like travel and how the rooms are going to go and this, that, and the other thing. Like Jacksonville, the story always sticks out to me. They didn't have enough hotel rooms to actually host the Super Bowl. They had to bring extra cruise ships into the port and treat them like floating hotels. So there were just, thousands and thousands of people whose hotel room was a non-moving cruise ship. So you got to have those plans. If you spread it all over the country, that's got to be a lot easier. A lot easier. Like, all right, listen, I need these 6 major hotels in the LA area for a week. I need these ones in Jersey. I need these ones in like Foxborough will be interesting because there's nothing near that stadium. Like there's just nothing there. It's just one road in and out. It's the TB12 store and a field, and that's it. That's all it's there. And like they built a little community around it, but it's the same building.
And in 2026, they can play a little bit if the U.S. qualifies, which they should. I know they didn't qualify in 2018, but when Team USA, actually, I take that back. I believe when you are the host country, you get an automatic qualifier, but then again, you can't get 3 teams. 3 countries are getting automatic qualifiers. Let's just say they're in. You can get these games, matches in prime time. So you want the big parties at the local pubs. I'm sure it's going to be rocking still here on a Saturday morning, but there's something even cooler about having Team USA in a primetime game.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we're
in the summer,
imagine we get booted early. Oh,
not good. That'd be
bad. We kind of screwed this up. We should be at the beer garden right now. That's got to be nuts in there right now.
We should have assumed they were going to win. That's un-American of us to assume they were going to lose.
I believe that we will. I believe that we will win.
Speaking about flying around the country here, good luck to Team USA. You texted me late last night about Major League Baseball rumors that are happening. Now it might be no longer a rumor.
No, it's not.
As the hot stove is officially heating up here as we are into December.
Yeah, Jacob deGrom left the Mets. 5-year, $185 million, so average of $37 million a year. He is now the ace of the Rangers staff. That I saw somebody I know who I actually respect as a sports fan go, see, it's all about money. That's a lot of money. Like 37 a year. And then you go to Texas where you don't have the same taxes. So like your signing bonus is yours. Like, all those things. Like, come on, dude, stop. Like it's a $37 million a year. I believe it was the great poets Wu-Tang Clan who put it best when they said cash rules everything around me. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the respect. Okay. So the Mets played the DeGrom game as wrong as humanly possible. Brody Van Wagenen gave him a nice deal, but not the deal that he actually deserved at the time because he didn't have to. He paid him early, which was nice. And then you overpay Max Scherzer to get him into town. And if I'm taking 37 a year over 5 to go to Texas, I'm imagining the Mets didn't offer me 40 a year for 4 or 5 years to stay. So if I'm DeGrom and I got this guy who's getting paid more than me, who's very, very good. Max Scherzer is a very, very good pitcher, but I'm arguably better, and I'm yours, and you're paying him more than me. I feel disrespected. So when Texas rolls in and goes, "Hey, look what we're building here. We've got a bunch of big talent we're adding to our bats. We're trying to put a pitching staff together, and we'd love for you to be the centerpiece of that. And here's $37 million a year that you're not going to pay. You're going to pay a lot less taxes down here." I don't blame the guy for going. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Because our show has changed a little bit in this podcast format, if we were on, let's say, a radio setting, we probably would have done, with expanded inventory and everything else, more shows of, is DeGrom staying? Is DeGrom going? Or if there was like a random, like, block where like, all right, we need someone to fill here. All right, let's do DeGrom Chaos Watch or anything like that. We probably would have covered it more. And maybe it's a little bit towards me because I will be completely thought he would never ever leave. Like I thought it was just Met fans stirring something up like, oh, the Mets, am I right? We suck again. Like the Met mentality of fans is just so bad where it's like, oh, just add this to like, we're going to lose DeGrom because you laid out a few of the points there. Overall, it doesn't make sense. Like that DeGrom is leaving. Okay, he spent the whole part of his career with the Mets, successful with the Mets. You mentioned the Brody Van Wagenen contract. He had a 2-year opt-out clause. So could opt out for 2 years. So like this is the opt-out point, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to opt out because this happens all the time in a cross-sport comparison here in the NBA. Like NBA guys do this all the time where they're like, hey, I'm opting out because the money has changed and I'm going to get paid more money by you. Now DeGrom's 34, Scherzer's 38. They gave Scherzer a huge contract. Now thinking out loud, well, did they really think a year ago, 2 years ago, however they started eyeing up Scherzer and aiming for him, hey, we think a 4-year older Max Scherzer is going to be better than Jacob DeGrom. We're more likely to be invested in him because we think he's going to be better than DeGrom. Because if that's the answer is wrong. Like, that's not the right answer.
Right.
Like, DeGrom's better. DeGrom is better. And the reason I thought he would never leave is because I thought Uncle Steve Cohen would say, I'm not letting him walk out the door. We're going to win a World Series. And
that's what he's supposed to be.
That's exactly it.
Well, because, and it's so funny to me, too, because Mets fan isn't dealing with it yet, but at some point they will. There's this whole, like, as a Yankee fan, oh, you buy championships. Oh, you buy championships. Oh, you buy championships. And now, what? You won't spend money to get a championship? It's like, wait, hold up. Wait, what? Hold on. Wait. Well, like with Mets fan, like you've never had that. Well, actually, that's not never, but you got to go back to where they were willing to, really buy the free agents that were out there to get where they needed to be. You did that a little bit last year, but to let a guy like DeGrom go, to not have that 1-2 punch is weird when you've got a guy who, in Uncle Steve, who said, and everybody believed, and he basically said, I'm not afraid to spend money to win championships. So I don't know if there's something they got to do about the taxes or whatever they got to do to make that. I know they put the Steve Cohen tax in, but man, to see DeGrom in a Rangers uniform for the next 5 years is if I'm a Mets fan, that chaps my ass. Bad.
Do you think it's more personal than it's been allowed, I guess, by the media to report yet? Do you think there's a little bit of the stuff we just covered that DeGrom took personal? It's like, I'm out no matter what. Like, you guys had chances to give me more money. You guys signed Scherzer. Something pissed him off where he's like, I'm just not coming back. Because some of this you and I just laid out doesn't out loud make a lot of sense.
I think it probably factors in. It's the debate that you and I have always had where I tell you, like, there's a point where I'll take a little less to get what I want. So like I one day I hope to know the difference between 35 and 40 million a year. I would love to know the difference of what that feels like. But if you told me 35, I can stay home, I can be with the people I like, I can do the things I want, or 40, I can go blaze a new path with a team that had 40 less wins a year ago than my team. I'm going to take the $5 million less a year. I'm going to stay where I'm called. Because again, I'm still getting $35 million a year after taxes, whatever. It's probably $3 million. Who knows? But like, there's a point where you do the hometown discount if it makes sense. I think there's a really good chance this is one of those situations where he looked around and went, I just don't feel respected. I don't feel like the fans respect me, but I don't feel like the team ever has, the organization ever has. You know, who knows if they ever really made a good offer? Like, we know there's offers out there for Judge right now, and I know we're going to get to that next. At least we're hearing they are. I never heard a DeGrom offer. Like, maybe I missed it somewhere along the line. I never heard where it was like, yeah, on the table right now for DeGrom from the Mets is, 4 years, 128 million or something like, you know what I mean? Like, I never even heard that number out there. So
never heard it.
Yeah. So did that ever happen? Like, it was did he even negotiate with them is the next question. Did it ever get to that? Or did they all just know he was out?
It feels more and more like there was something bitter here that people didn't talk about, and they were smart, because if we said he was bitter, then he'd say like, oh, you think I'm bitter? Okay, I'm definitely leaving. They didn't know how to play the bitterness, because if it was too much bitterness, they knew he was going to be out no matter what. Yeah, I didn't hear any offers. You said Aaron Judge's name, though.
Hold on, though. I'm so mad that DeGrom is not a Yankee, because I already had my DeGrom fan shirt thought up. Little D Energy, because he has the lowercase d in the beginning of his name. I was so ready. Maybe I'll tell Armin Williams, our friend who's a big Rangers fan. Little D Energy, I was so ready. So ready. One for the fat guys. One for the little D Energy guys out here. All right, so I go to Aaron Judge.
Take it. No, you said Aaron Judge's name, because a lot of the stuff we're talking about at the tail end of that conversation with DeGrom, someone could have just hopped in and listened or zoomed ahead and been like, oh, they're talking about Judge. Oh, no, they're talking about DeGrom, because a lot of the stuff, does he feel disrespected? At least the rumors out there. Did you see the 8 for $300 million is what we saw?
37 a year for both of them. Look at that. How's that sound, huh? Yeah. And then the reports are, I was at NJ Sports or whatever the hell it is reporting that Judge is going to make up his mind like this month, basically, whether or not he's taking the Yankee deal. So we know what the Yankee deal is, or we believe we know what the Yankee deal is. And I think 8 for 300 is a pretty damn good deal. I like it a lot. I mean, I would take it. I'm willing. If the Yankees want me, I'll do it. But we don't, like, what was San Fran's offer? Did San Fran make an offer? Like, he went home, he went and visited family, and we know he met with the Giants. Did they make an offer, or are they waiting to hear what the Yankees were going to do? And, it's weird. Like, I want to see, I want to see Judge stay, but I don't want to see Judge stay kind of the way Jeter did, where Jeter couldn't wait for it to be over after he signed that last deal. So, like, I would like for it to be one of those where it's just like the Yankees blew everybody away. He chose the Yankees because they chose him, kind of thing, and there's no animosity, and we move forward. I don't want it to be like, well, the Yankees offer was a little bit better, so I guess I'll stay in New York. I want it to be like, they gave me exactly what I asked for. I'm ready to go. Let's get some more pitching in the bullpen, and let's go ahead and actually win this damn thing.
I'm not sure if this is actually a word I'm about to say, but this is the stage, and it's been like this for the last, since April. The marination process. Is marination a word? I know you know what I mean. Like the marinating.
Yeah, let it marinate. Yeah.
Marination. I don't think that's.
I don't know. I mean, I knew what you meant when you said it, so I think you can get away with it. Yeah. Your cough made me have to cough.
That's it. Okay. So we'll stick with marination. The marination of Judge of, okay, is it going to have this?
I was a big fan of the marination of domination. That was that wrestling group was really very special.
Farouk and Savio Vega, was he in it?
D'Lo Brown, Rocky Maivia, yeah, tenderloins and marinating. Yes, very nice.
We had months for this to happen. Like, okay, Judge, do you want to sign a contract now? And look, there's like huge businesses. We get that. It's a business. He doesn't have to. Is dirty the right word here? It's definitely not marination again. Hey, the report's out there. Because Manny Machado is a great comparison to this. Because Machado and Harper's offseason, there's always talk of whether one of those two guys is going to be a Yankee. And remember at the tail end of the Machado thing, and Buster Olney had this conversation with us. He said, like, Machado's family members were ruining it because he flat out would just say who offered what. Yeah, here are the 5 teams who offered us. Here's how much. And we've said no to all of them. Everyone's like, you mean no? They offered you like $260 million and you're saying no? There was this point of, oh my God. Like a regular sports fan would be like, what a jerk. They offered him 260 and he wants more. What a greedy son of a bitch. Like, by God, there it is. So like, that's what I get worried about with this Aaron Judge stuff. And the Yankees did that with Jeter a little bit.
Yep.
Machado, where it's like, hey, we offered him $300 million. He hasn't said yes. So we did our thing. We did what we wanted. But that's the part of this business process where it's like, we have to find ways to find leverage for our team too.
And it's something that, like, I was about to say you have to remember, but like, you don't have to do jack shit. You should remember that the smart athlete is not the one doing the negotiation. Like Lamar Jackson is negotiating his own deal. Okay, whatever. That's fine. The smart athlete uses his agent like a flak jacket, like an offensive line, a blocker, all those things. Hey, what's going on? I don't know. That's not my deal. What do you mean? It's your money. Yep, and it will be. But that's his job. That's why he gets paid. So he's going to go negotiate that, and I'm going to play baseball because that's what I'm good at. He's good at that. I'm good at this, and that's it. Like those, because the agent's job is to be an asshole. That's their job. Like to go in and get every penny that nobody wants to give their player and everything like that. And like the more high profile the agent, the better, because I can then look at, like, there was times when T.O. was a total jerk. And I'm just like, yeah, but you know what? It's Drew Rosenhaus. He's a Drew Rosenhaus client. I would take if Drew Rosenhaus would represent me, I'd be in. I'd do it. So it's like Judge probably isn't even truly involved in any of these negotiations. He might be in the room for a quick, like, hey, how's this number sound? But in the real world, those contracts are going to his agent. His agent's going through them. His agent's asking for more. He's asking for less. He's leaking information that makes sense to him, like that $300 million. And this is the time frame. Because if I'm the Giants and I'm really going to make an offer, I'm going to try to get him to come there, and I'm not going to let him leave. Like, hey, come on back in. We'll talk. And then here's the offer. I'm not going to let you. It's $40 million a year, and I'm not letting you go back to the Yankees. But if you leave the room, the offer goes away.
I know you don't want to go down this road. No Yankee fan does. But let's say he decides to leave the Yankees.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a huge amount of animosity, or has that now been washed away of, this is on Cashman, this is on Steinbrenner, you guys had the opportunity for Judge? I don't know if there's going to be as much animosity if Judge leaves the Yankees as maybe some in the baseball world think there is, because this could have been figured out long before, and Judge bet on himself and he's cashing in.
It's weird because I don't think I speak for a Yankee fan about this anymore, because my opinion of it has changed. Because when Robinson Cano left for Seattle, I was miserable. I was pissed. I was mad at him. I was mad at the Yankees and all these things. And it turned out to be a really good thing for the Yankees that he didn't sign. He went to Seattle. He had some good days, some bad days, some PED days, but he was way overpaid. So this is one of those things where I look at it like, if I'm Judge, I'm going to get that money. Because again, this contract's taking me through 30. I'm at 30. This contract could take me all the way to 40. You know what I mean? Like this could be a thing. So I'm going to get that money, but I'm going to hopefully put myself in a position to win. If I'm the Yankees, I have a plan on how to spend that money. And if I'm not spending it on Judge, hopefully it's because I've got, Dominguez, I got the Martian, I got all these players coming, all these guys we saw just dominate the Arizona Fall League. Goz and I watched every second, every inning, every pitch. And I just don't think I need him as bad as people think I need him. I need him for 8 years, $300 million. I do not need him for 10 years, $400 million. You know what I mean? Like and you got to trust those kind of things. I think he 100% deserves a record number, and $37 million a year would be the highest for a position player. So I think he deserves that. I think with what he's done, the number of jerseys he sold, all these things, and hopefully what he'll do for at least 6 of those 8 years, I think he deserves that. I don't have a problem with a team saying no to 10 years, $400 million for a guy who's, a little older now. I hate the way the baseball contracts work in the first place. That's the biggest thing I'm angry at. The only way I'd be angry at one side or the other is if, like you said, Judge double birds on his way out of town, or if we find out Randy Levine blew it, because I hate Randy Levine already.
Oh, that no good son of a...
Yeah, I mean, he's just like, He's the Grinch who stole baseball. Him and
It's time
Manfred sit in a room and just like jack off to bad memories. Like that's all I believe.
Week 13 wagers are on the way. I was gonna quickly, you know what? Never mind.
You're gonna transition into something else?
Yeah.
You want me to tell a story first?
No. It's fine. Week 13 wagers are on the way. Before, hopefully, you invest in some NFL games this weekend or this month of December, you head over to Mohawk Honda in Glenville, New York. I was going to write in the read from after what Levack said. This is not as well and still choppy, but whatever. Glenville, New York is your spot as you're looking for a new vehicle. 2023s are in. You and I were in a nice mass text message with Cam McKenna.
I was going to bring that up. I'm so pissed off.
All right, go ahead. Cam McKenna's maybe your contact at Mohawk Honda. What happened?
I like to make fun of Cam McKenna. I really like to make fun of Cam's dad, Brian. But they are great salespeople. They are great. They work with you. They take good care of you. You and I have sent so many people to Cam, and every one of them has called us afterwards or texted us or whatever and said, thank you so much. You know, I got the new Pilot I wanted. I got the Passport. I got the pre-owned vehicle I want. I got boom. I got what I needed. I got what I wanted. And it's great. I felt really taken care of. I felt listened to. And then to have one of our people drop our names and then not follow through with poor Cam. And not even tell Cam I don't care if you don't follow. Maybe you don't vibe with Cam. I don't believe it. I've never heard anybody say it before. Maybe you met Cam and you're like, yeah, I'd rather talk to I'd rather talk to Lindsey Harridan. Okay, cool. I get that. But to ghost our boy Cam and buy a vehicle at Mohawk, so very smart. You still are smart from a different guy, and not tell Cam, and then Cam has to call us and go, hey, what is Brian Cady doing? It's unacceptable, Brian Cady. That man's got a family.
He's probably going to blame his wife. He said his wife is behind that. He said his wife told him he was going. Yeah. I blame my wife for a bunch of stuff. No matter who you want to blame, you get the vehicle at Mohawk Honda.
All you had to do is call Cam and go, hey, Cam. Hey, I got to come in this day. Sorry you're not there, but this is when I can be in. So I'm going to meet with, whoever else. Moynihan. I'm going to meet with Moynihan. Moynihan's great too. And then I'll be okay with it. I'll be okay. But poor Cam goes into work, getting ready to call you, get your vehicle, looks over and sees you bought one from somebody else. It's rude. It's rude. And I'll tell you this right now. Everyone who listens to this, whether it be on the Techie Fire and Water Restoration Facebook page, whether it be on Godzilla Media's YouTube, whether it be on Goz's Twitter, which I'm sure no one's paid any attention to, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get it, please like, subscribe, even rate and review. You message me, you call me, and you say, hey, who can I talk to? I'll do the pre-call for you over to Mohawk. All I ask is if you're not going to do it, let the person know. That's all. That's all I ask. They're good people. They're going to take great care of you. Be a little respectful, Brian Cady. I got some white heat for you right here.
Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you.
Did you see there was they did the Brooks barbecue up at Mohawk Chevrolet?
Oh, I did not see that.
I was so mad. I didn't pay attention until the last minute. It was like $15 for that full chicken dinner and everything, and they were doing like charity stuff. I was like, man, I would have went up and bought like 4. So mad at myself. Love Mohawk family, baby. Mohawk family for life.
Yo, if you're watching on our visual side, this would be the time where the graphic would pop up of what our record is during the season. I will fully admit that I was about halfway through our picks, and I looked at the clock, and I texted Levack, and I talked to 8:45. I didn't do the math this week, all right? Sue me. I will get them updated next week. I'm sure you did, and I didn't add them up. So
I got 13 right in the no spread pool that we do over at the Hideaway.
I will update it next week. I will take the L, so there you go. That's why it doesn't stay that.
Wow, guys. You had one job. You're over there sniffing your new Superman socks instead of doing your work. Hanging out in your mom's bathroom. Freaking ridiculous. Locking your dad out of the house.
Just a programming note. Don't forget, we're going to give our picks on Sunday, the 11th, when we're at the Hideaway in the Godzilla Media Hooters Christmas party is coming out. More information is below there. We will be there Friday, December 9th. So things to be aware of.
Yeah. By the way, I've secured pair of tickets to the Albany Empire home opener with a prize pack, t-shirt, hoodie, some cool stuff. That'll all be available for somebody to win while we're there, as well as Goz's home phone number. Those are all things that we're going to give away at the Hooters Levack and Goz Christmas Party, the Very Booby Christmas Part 2.
All right, let's get into Titans Eagles. Titans Eagles 1 o'clock window. Let's do it. Eagles are a 4.5 point favorite at home. Over under is 44.
Titans all the way. What is it? 4.5 points?
The Titans all the way out of the gates.
Lock it. Lock the Titans plus 4.5. I will. You want to hear the stat? The stat yes. that will bring in why you have to do this. You may want to just go money line, to be perfectly honest with you, because it is he's a monster, Mr. Vrabel. As a dog for at least a field goal, he is one of the most profitable coaches in all of football. He's a 21-7 record. If you put $100 in every time he was a 3-point or less, 3-point or more dog, you would have won over $1,200. It's 75% win percentage.
That is maybe the best stat we've had in our entire wager segment of the entire year. I'm now taking the Titans. You've just talked me into it. There you go.
That's my lock, by the way. That's my first lock of the day.
Ooh, okay. I thought this was going to be a A.J. Brown revenge game, but is it really a revenge game for a wide receiver when your touches are dictated on you throwing the football? I'll say this, though. Tennessee covers. Philadelphia wins. I could see this as a game-winning field goal. I could see Jalen Hurts
fine with that.
Final drive, Scott Hansen losing his mind on red zone type of game. Tennessee will cover, maybe even have a lead. That might be a fun first half play too. Philly wins the game. Tennessee covers. Browns, Texans, the Deshaun Watson, Houston Texan returning 8-point dogs at home. Houston.
I'm going to take the Browns. I think Rub and Tug Watson is going to show out a little bit. I think that I'm not going to bet it a lot because it's over a touchdown. But what I would look at is potentially the over in this game. What did you say it was? What is it now?
46.5. 46.
So it's down a little bit from when I saw it the first time. Potentially the over as a play. And then I'm thinking Amari Cooper props, just going crazy on the props because I think they're going to feed him. I think they're going to try and get that connection between Rub and Tug Watson and Coop early. So look at the over in that one. I'll take Cleveland, but I like the over and also Amari Cooper props.
Look at this. My lock. One of my locks this week is the over in this game, 46.5. A little bit because of the Watson Cooper, but more so pride. Cleveland's got a $250 million quarterback who hasn't played. Now's your time to show him off and be like, all right, this is why we paid $250 million. He's going to throw the ball like crazy. He wants to rub it into Houston. Remember, it seems so long ago that Watson wanted to get traded from Houston, and Houston took that personal, and we wonder how it all changed after that they didn't want that to happen. Houston has to prove to their fans, like, hey, we made the right decision to get rid of Deshaun Watson. They're going to let whoever it is now, Davis Mills, Kyle Allen, Matt Schaub, David Carr, someone's going to be behind center and throwing the football like crazy. Can we get Pierce in the end zone? Can we get the running back to not put goose eggs in fantasy lineups anymore?
I sneezed when you said David Carr, and I was like, did he mean? Oh, no, he's going all the way back. Okay. Has anybody been hit? Like Joe Burrow might be the only person who's on pace to be hit more than David Carr. David Carr still gets sacked from his Texans days now.
NFL Network just dodging people.
Yeah, just people just like random like Jaguars linebackers just come flying out of nowhere and just pop them in the ribs.
I love the over. That is a lock. I got to pick. I don't like 8. 8 is a rare number.
It's a big number. It's a big number.
God, I'm gonna go with Cleveland. I feel like I picked against the Texans a lot this season, but they stink. So that makes me feel better. Broncos, Ravens. The Ravens are a 9.5 point favorite at home. Over under 39.5.
So like this, that's a huge number. And the Ravens have not been big on covering, right? The Broncos defense is strong, but the offense is so bad that I think you're starting to see it wear down the defense. I learned this a long time ago from some good bettors where there was that year, I think I go back to like 02, 03, somewhere in that, or maybe 03, 04, somewhere in there, where Miami had that amazing defense with the linebacker core of, Junior Seau, Zach Thomas, all that stuff. But the offense was crap. And I was like, man, I'm just going to keep betting the defense is going to keep them in games. I'm going to bet the unders. And I was told, and it rang true, by the end of the year, that defense is going to be worn the F out because they're going to be on the field a lot. I think you're starting to see that with the Broncos defense. You saw it with Purcell just ripping in to Danger Russ. So I'm going to take the Ravens. I'm going to lay the points. I'm not betting it though. I'm not betting that. That's just too big of a number to bet. But I'll take it for this.
The math doesn't make sense here. 9.5 and 39. So what score are we looking at? We're looking at 21-17. The Broncos can get that high on their offense. What is the number? 24-17? They barely
that wouldn't cover.
Right? Like that doesn't cover either.
No, you probably, I mean, honestly, you're probably looking like 32-7, something like that. I mean, like that. I have the thing about the Ravens defense is the secondary is light. They're, but that front seven is nasty. And I think you're seeing them hopefully start to gel together. And the offense, I mean, Lamar Jackson bet on himself. So he's going to have to start putting up Superman numbers again. And I think he can. And I think he sure as hell can against them. Watch Mark Andrews just get busy in this game too. Like it's too big of a number to bet. But if somebody walked in and put a gun to my head and said, you have to bet this game, I first would be like, your life choices are weird. But second, I would take the Ravens.
I'm taking the Ravens too. That math doesn't make sense to me. That's probably a one that if I had another 24 hours on, I would keep staring at that under and trying to figure out why that's coming the way it is. I will lean towards the Ravens, but that is it's weird. Missed kicks, 2-point conversions. If you don't want to be stressed on a Sunday, stay away from that game because there's some weirdness. It stinks a little bit.
Yeah, if you're not going to that game, don't bet it.
Yeah. Jags, Lions, 1-point favorite at home. Detroit over under 51 in this one.
Yeah, this one, I like the over in this one. Man, I get a point with the Jags. I'll take the Jags. I think that you saw the Jags momentum moment happen with that 2-point conversion. Detroit is really, really good. This could end up being kind of a shootout. Like, believe it or not, Detroit's really, really good. They just play really. They just seem to like blow it in the end. The defense isn't as strong as I would like them to be, but they score a lot of points. They bought in. I just think the Jags are a younger team, but on their way, and their momentum moment happened. Give me the Jags.
I liked Philly, Tennessee is to be the best game in the 1 o'clock window. This is going to be just as good. Like, this is going to be another classic Lion game where they're going to go for 2 at a weird spot, and Peterson might go for 2 and a late touch. This is going to be a really fun, entertaining Jacksonville-Detroit game. You know what? I'm taking the Lions. Okay. I'm taking the Lions, and for the locks, that might come back to me a little bit.
Yeah,
because I like the idea of Detroit at home finally coming through in the fourth quarter. You would think after Jacksonville's big win over Baltimore, a lot of people are going to think about, oh, yeah, Jacksonville can beat Detroit. I might come back to that Lions one for a lock. I'm starting to like that team a little bit. Bears, Packers. A little bit. Yeah. So that's how I wager. The pig penny bet.
There
I like
it is.
the team a lot, so I'll wager a little on it.
There you go. I like it. The big pennies.
Packers, Bears 3.5-point dog at home over under 45.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is hurt, but he does own the Bears. The Bears have kind of raised the white flag. I'll take the Pack. I'll lay the 3.5.
You know, I love divisional dogs at home, and this is one I'm not biting on. Pun intended with the Bears. Nice and hot. Yeah, I don't know the situation at quarterback for the Bears. Is it Nathan Peterman? Is it Trevor Siemian? Is it Justin Fields? Is it Twitter? Something's going to happen. Just too much uncertainty for Chicago right now. Green Bay, this is such a stupid quote, but I think it's true. Green Bay's playing a lot better. Yeah, they shouldn't have been playing so terrible early, and you shouldn't get complimented for how off you've been this season. But I will take the Packers too because just too many questions marks. About 24 hours away from that kickoff for Chicago. Steelers, Falcons. Falcons a 1-point favorite at home over under 43.
I said the Steelers would find their way into the playoffs. I'm actually hoping I'm wrong because I'm hoping the Raiders find their way in now. But this is the game you got to win if that's going to happen. Give me the Steel Curtain.
This one is less about head and more about heart. I'm rooting against Atlanta for the majority of the rest of the season, even though I'm a Bucs fan. I should be always rooting against them. More so in particular this season because Atlanta is so close to Tampa in that division. I don't want the season to come down to week 18. So I'm picking with my heart on this one. Pittsburgh, come on. Take down Atlanta. Old Buccaneers need you. We move into the 4 o'clock window. Let's go with the Dolphins and the Niners. Dolphins and Niners, Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan. The Niners a 4-point favorite at home. Over under in this matchup between the former coaches who worked together, 46.5.
I've gone back and forth on this game because, this is one of those situations where the coaching staffs know each other, this knows that. This is what it's legitimately in my mind comes down to the Dolphins offense, which is pretty much unstoppable, versus the Niners defense, which is pretty much unmovable. It is the unstoppable force versus the unmovable object. And I think the Niners are better. They're home. I'll take the Niners on this one. Maybe this, if I was betting this, it'd probably be sprinkled into like a money line parlay though. Like, I don't know if I would bet the number, because I could see this being like a 23-20 game. I could see this being a 7-2 game. Like I don't know which style is going to show up, because there's also a chance that Shanahan looks across the field and goes, they think he's great at offense. I'm the offensive genius. Watch this. And all of a sudden the Niners put like 42 on the board. So Niners are like a money line parlay for this. I'll take the Niners. I'll lay the points.
Ooh, I like the Dolphins in this one. This is one of these where I kind of wish I had a Hard Knocks camera with the Dolphins or Niners coaching room, because there's so much pride in that game. Like you mentioned, oh, you think I can do this? I can do that. I want to watch the film they're watching. Are they like super 1,000 zoomed in on like somebody's ankle? Be like, look at Trent Williams' left foot. I told you this would be a run to the A gap on that, all that stuff. So yeah, I like the Dolphins. I think the Niners win. God, I keep copping out on those, but that's the play here. San Francisco.
It's a really good week. I don't know if this is a good betting weekend as much. Like there's a couple plays I really, really like. Most weeks, you know me, I'm like spreading money all over the place just for the fun of it. There's a lot of games worth watching that I don't know that I would bet them.
San Francisco feels like a better team. Like with Debo, I know Debo's. All right, there's my answer. If Debo's a full go, San Francisco wins. But if Debo, for whatever reason, and you get a tweet from somebody that says Debo is going to be limited, I would play the Dolphins money line. And you just said you'd play San Francisco's money line. So I would go Miami, depending on the status of Debo Samuel for this game.
So
Seahawks.
the house across the street from mine is officially up for sale. And one of the guys who just pulled up to look at it, he must have like swallowed his chewing tobacco or something, because he just yacked in the road. So yeah, I really hope that's my new neighbor. I really hope this works out.
Howdy, neighbor.
First impression is great with this guy, because he literally saw I saw him like with the dip in, and all of a sudden he was like, "Whoa!" So he's somebody who's dipping and he don't know how to do it. So it's great. Looking forward to that.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Seahawks and Rams. Rams are a 7-point dog at home. Over under is 41.
Yeah, you Seahawks. The Rams, I mean, we're not even sure who the quarterback's going to be at this point for the Rams. Seahawks are going to, they're a little pissed off after what happened last week. Give me the Seahawks.
I'm going to take the Rams. Seattle's going to win. This is more of a 3-point game than a 7-point game. I just got to give McVay credit at some point. Of as bad as this team is, they actually played pretty well against Kansas City, even though they lost by 16, which is a weird statement to say out loud. It could have been a complete blowout. The defense isn't terrible. I bet against Seattle like 85%. The thing with the Seahawks, though, aren't the wheels going to fall off? It's December. Or is it ever going to happen? Are they going to go like 11-6 and miss the postseason after a great year? I don't know, Seahawks fan. What do you want? Do you want to go 10-7 or 9-8 rather than 11-6? What's going to feel better or worse? That could be your future. Chiefs, Bengals.
McVay's still in concussion protocol too. So
oh man, he got blasted.
He got destroyed. The guy never even looked back.
Bengals, Chiefs, 2-point underdog at home. Cincinnati, 52.5. The over under in this game.
Man, I like the over. I'm gonna take the Chiefs in this one. I'm gonna lock it in. I think the Chiefs, as much as the Chiefs seem to like treat every game like it doesn't matter and whatever, I feel like they're a little pissed off at the Bengals still. I feel like they don't like the Bengals. I feel like the stories about Joe Burrow and all those stuff, and I think this is gonna be one where you're gonna see that defensive front for the Chiefs get a little busy. Joe Burrow is gonna be picking himself up a few times. Give me the Chiefs, lock it in. I'll take Kansas City and Kermit Mahomes. I'll lay the 2 points.
Fantasy football managers know this. If you play fantasy football in the past, pre-week expanded, week 18, this would have been the final week of the regular season. And if you've got Burrow, Mahomes, Kelsey, any of those guys, T. Higgins, this would have been a week you could have won like your championship, gotten into the playoffs. This is the game you'd hope for week 13 as a fantasy football player. I've got Mahomes in a bunch of leagues. I'm so excited for Bengals Chiefs. Another lock. The second time in a row you mentioned a lock you might like for an over. I have the lock over 52.5. This is a fantasy football manager's dream. I want some 400-yard over under. Can I get a DraftKings prop for over under 8.5 passing touchdowns for Burrow and Mahomes? Give me something like that. Nothing but points, nothing but fantasy football glory. Over. I have to actually pick a team though. I will take Kansas City because those constant field goals last week, I think, got in their head. So I will take Kansas City, but that's going to be a fun game to watch. Chargers, Raiders. Your Raiders, 2-point favorite at home, over under 48.5.
Lock in the over. I think you're going to see these two. This might be over in the first half. The Raiders offense right now is clicking, and I don't know that anyone's going to be able to stop them. I'm a little scared about Khalil Mack, of course. But I don't think anybody can stop them. But also, the Raiders defense doesn't really like to stop people either. So I think the over is an absolute lock in this one. I'll take the Raiders because, of course, they're my team. But definitely the over. Lock that over and have some fun with it.
You've taught me many a time ago that a home team, usually the number's 3, they would get at home. Now, I thought this would be like the Raiders maybe even an underdog because they played so poorly earlier in the season, and the Chargers seem more as if a playoff contender. A 2-point favorite at home for a team that's struggling, and they're an overtime win away from maybe the season being over. This was our dead or alive game, Levack, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Winner of this one. Yep. Loser leaves town match. I'm going with your Raiders.
Yeah, buddy. Let's go.
That line at 2. If they were a dog, I would have taken the Chargers. There is something that somebody knows. Raiders at home. Something stinky over there. Maybe they just flat out think they're better.
Defense.
Raiders. Colts, Cowboys. Sunday night. Don't forget we have the New York teams coming up too. So we're going to jump to the Sunday night game. How come the Colts keep getting primetime games after that? Oh, God, that stanker Matt Ryan put up on Monday night against the Steelers. 10 points. Cowboys at home. Monday night. Over under 44.
How about them Cowboys? Give me the Cowboys. I'll lay the 10. Listen, this Jeff Saturday, he's got the guys all marching in the right direction, which is cool for him. I think he deserves slightly more credit than I was giving him, but he's not a head football coach. He doesn't understand what to do in crunch situations. If he was the O-line coach, or if he was even the offensive assistant head coach, something like that, I think he would be an amazing benefit to a staff. But him making the calls versus Dan Quinn late in the game, that's going to be bad for the Colts. Give me the Cowboys.
I feel like I'm getting suckered in here on this lock. I love the Cowboys. It is a lock for me. I'm going to talk myself out of it with what I'm about to say here. Okay, so it's a primetime game, and if we've watched the primetime games this season, especially on Monday night, not only have underdogs won and covered, they've won big. But this Colts team, I got nothing for you guys. No coaching staff with experience, an old quarterback. Everyone knows you've got to stop the run. You're going against one of the best defenses in the NFL. 10 points is a lot. I just can't talk myself into betting the Colts for any other reason than, the game's played at night. That's not a good enough reason. So I will take Dallas. I will lock it in. I like the Cowboys big, but I'm trying to talk myself out of it, and I just can't figure out a good enough reason to. Saints, Buccaneers, Monday night, 3.5-point favorites at home. Tampa over under 40.5.
This should be the Bucs. Home, better team, all those things. Saints always play you tough. I'll take the points. I think this is a field goal game, 3.5. I might bet it early to make sure I don't lose the hook. I'll take the Saints plus the points.
Yes, it's the Saints. As long as we've done pick segments, man, I've always have to pick the Saints in the Buccaneer matchup. They kill them in the regular season. It bothers me. Even when the Buccaneers are better teams, they've gotten smoked. And wasn't it just a few years ago, the Tampa Bay run to the Super Bowl where they played the Saints on a Monday night and got absolutely trounced? The game was over by the second quarter. Tampa's got to win, though. Tampa's going to win. 3.5 is a beautiful line to take for the New Orleans Saints. Come on, Tampa, don't do this to me. No, Tampa's going to lose, too.
I love it. While we're taping this, Netherlands USA has started, I should say. I don't know if kicked off is a thing. And I just got a score update of 0-0. I'm like, you're 9 minutes in.
I'm taking the Saints, and they're going to beat the Bucks, and I'm not betting on that. I'm never betting against my favorite team. All right, let's get to the New York teams so people can enjoy the American action. Let's do the Jets and the Vikings first. Jets, Vikings, 3-point favorite at home. Minnesota, over under 44.5.
How many points?
44.5.
And then the Jets are getting how many?
3.
Give me the Jets. Lock in the Jets +3. I think that I feel like the Vikings can win this thing. This is probably I'm almost like I feel like this is me becoming a soccer fan. I'm almost betting a push right here. I can see this being a field goal game. I really can. But I think the Jets are really onto something. I don't think Mike White is the white knight they're hoping for, pun intended. But I think they've rallied around him and they're playing so strong on defense with a top 5 defense in the NFL right now. I'll take the Jets. I think the Vikings maybe win it, but I think it's going to be a really, really close game.
Am I really saying that the Jets, because of Mike White, are going to go on the road, beat one of the best teams in the NFC with a backup running back, with a troubled wide receiver? We'll call it troubled for Elijah Moore because he wants the ball more, even though fantasy sites are lighting up that everyone says you should add him this week, which doesn't make much sense to me. And I got a rookie going against the best wide receiver, arguably in the NFL, and Justin Jefferson. None of that stuff makes sense. None of it. God, if this was Tuesday, I would have taken the Jets. Now that it's a weekend, I'm taking the Vikings because I can't talk myself in New York. I'm rooting for them. I've told you, I want to see the Jets do well this season. I think it's a fun storyline to watch with how they're piecing this thing together. The answer is Minnesota here. There's too much working in the Vikings' favor. I will take the Vikings in that game.
Did you hear the only wide receiver who hasn't bought in allegedly is Braxton Berrios there? Because he actually hangs out with Zach Wilson.
Oh, God.
I heard it was actually one of the Barstool things. I happened to catch a clip from it. Portnoy says he runs into them down in Martha's Vineyard or some crap, and they wear shirts saying how good the other guy is. They walk around together.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I don't think Barrios will be getting a lot of looks from White. So maybe that's why Moore is getting a little extra love.
Last one here, because the Bills and Patriots played on Thursday night. Giants, Commanders. Giants are a 2-point dog at home, over under 40.5.
This one, this game, if I was going to make a play on this game, it'd probably be the under. But I'll take the Giants. I think they're getting 6 players back, I think, potentially from their defense and from the IR and everything like that. So I'll take the Giants, but Taylor Heineke is a cover machine. And this might just be me betting with my heart and not my head.
That late victory against Atlanta felt like a season-shifting thing for the Commanders. I know it's a batted ball, too. And if you bet the Falcons on the money line, that's something you have to consider for the rest of your life, that you did that and thought that was going to work out for you in any NFL game, how the history of that franchise. Washington and New York seem so close. They seem so close. Good defense, coaches that are changing what they want in that franchise, young quarterbacks. But when it comes to the running backs, Saquon Barkley is better. Wide receivers, isn't Washington better? With McLaurin out there, Curtis Samuel's looking to get in action more.
No!
Goal already?
Yeah, not for us.
Oh, I will take Washington. All right, I'll go through my locks here. Here are my final 4 locks. I love the over in Browns Texans. I love the over in Chiefs Bengals. I have now talked myself into the Cowboys, even though I almost jumped off. I cannot believe I'm doing the freaking Lions. And the 4th lock is the Lions against the Jags. If I could pick 3 locks this week, those 2 overs and the Cowboys, and then a cutoff, and then the Lions. So I feel very strong about those top 3.
I'm doing the star system this week, right? So I want like confidence rankings. 4 stars, my most confident. So 1 star, Jets +3. 2 stars, Kansas City -2. 3 stars, over in the Raiders game of 48.5. 4 stars, Tennessee +4.5. Titans are my lock of all locks this week. I actually bet them early to make sure the points wouldn't go down to. I got them at 5.5. So yeah, those are mine. I think that I think Vrabel's going to make that game ugly. I think the Eagles, they don't reinvent the wheel. They have a really solid running game, and the way they do the running game is pretty impressive. But I think that's exactly the kind of thing that Vrabel can see. So Titans are my biggest lock.
Love it, dude. Friday, Sunday, 2 big shows on the way. I'm going to do my best.
Actually, give me some college picks real quick, too, because I know you got some guys today you like.
I like Georgia. I like Georgia at 17.5. I know that's a big number, but this one could be over fast. I don't know how LSU's even going to hang with these guys. So I like Georgia, and I like the under in Carolina Clemson. Those are the two I like. And if you want a one outside, way outside, Troy Coastal. I kind of like Troy, but those two more so. I like Georgia, and I like the under in the ACC title game. I wanted to take Carolina on the money line, but Carolina stunk so bad the last 2 weeks. I don't know what team I'm getting tonight.
I might tease a couple things around a little bit, and I know that I'm not going to do the conventional teases. I just I kind of like Kansas State, but I want more points, so I might have to put a teaser together just so I can take K-State. That's just literally doing it just to take K-State.
It would have been nice. A Utah Kansas State money line would have been nice.
I've got like this. I had a $5 free play, and I have every game picked, like either a money line and over something for every game. So far, so good from yesterday.
That sounds like an undefeated is what I just heard.
That's it. So far, so good. I'm not going to get too. I don't want to get too crazy. I don't want to. But as of like, if it's not if I bought out right now, never lost. So I'm hoping. You want to do a little quick Q&A or before?
Yeah, I think most of our Q&As we covered. So we've had people coming in and out.
Yeah, this one is from early, so I don't mind. Yeah,
this one is from, I believe, a Middle Eastern country with the team name.
Yeah.
Keep my fingers crossed for the United States football team today against the Netherlands. USA. It's time for the U.S. team to raise a level in world football. Thank you, the listener from another country, for that one.
And that was what was cool about that is when I saw that it was not in English, I thought it was going to be one of those like, and you can watch the stream right here. So the fact that it's a real comment, I really wish I knew how to say your name. So I apologize that I don't speak the language. I don't read the language, but I appreciate your comment. Very cool. Corey said hi, of course. Go Blue.
Yeah, there you go. Tommy Gross wanted to know what we thought of the DeGrom signing. Tommy, we did it right around like the 35-minute mark, but I didn't believe he was ever going to leave.
I did because cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bills, y'all. Cindy Martin, Cindy Luhu. It was just her birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Go Jets. So proud of them this year. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those ones where you looked at it and Bob Sala was catching slings and arrows. Like we're keeping receipts. And everybody's like, well, you're stupid. You shouldn't keep receipts. And they start winning. They're like, we should all keep receipts. So I like like the calm, steady pace that the Jets are building at. I think is a good thing. And I think it'll bear fruit for them, so to speak.
If you live in Seattle, Washington, and you are a fan of the Washington Husky football program, please stop tweeting me. Enough is enough.
Yeah, who's the Heisman now?
My Twitter, Michael Penix Jr., who plays quarterback for the Washington Huskies. I've nonstop been on a thread, and I don't know how to turn it off, from Washington football fans demanding I vote for him.
So you're not voting for him.
Wrong way to advertise. Nice try.
Yeah. Because everyone loves to be Twitter harassed. That's like, I was thinking about that when I was getting text messages from people that I did not give the authority to text me about voting for their representative or whatever. And I went, you know what? No, I'm not.
You just blew it.
Right. Because obviously we don't see eye to eye on things. Okay. I don't spam people. It's not allowed. But I do have spam. Maybe I'll have a little spam today. Maybe I'll do the most unhealthy of all canned meats.
I'm going to go out with a nice date with my wife. It's been a while. Nice lunch date with my wife here coming up.
What did she do wrong?
I was thinking in my head, like, we got to find a nice place to grab lunch. And trying to figure out what places may have the World Cup on and may not. What's been infiltrated by soccer and football fans that we can actually get a table during the World Cup? Do we just hold off till noon? We're going to find
any place that has garden in their name is gonna have the World Cup.
Ooh, darn it!
So, any sports place isn't there like a dinosaur barbecue right near you? I bet you.
No, I wanted those free breadsticks though.
Oh, you want to go to Olive Garden?
What do you think the World Cup fans are like at the Olive Garden?
They're not, because they're your family.
They're pissed Italy's not there.
Every time, ever since the Jimmy Fallon bit where he brought Post Malone to Olive Garden, I'm just disappointed anytime I go to Olive Garden and there's Post Malone isn't there. I just get instantly like, oh, I was hoping a guy with really bad tattoos on his face would be here. Oh, sucks.
Syracuse native Post Malone.
Is he really?
Yeah, he was born in Syracuse. Yeah,
I wouldn't say that out loud. I don't think that's a good thing. My man is like, sorry, like. Yeah, they're saying goodbye to Bear on TV right now. You were right.
Oh, we didn't mention that. That's right. I actually had a
Yeah.
graphic here that said, what did we miss? We missed that Bear Felica. Here we go. Bear Felica is going to Fox. He's getting the bag. Good for him. And Deion Sanders might be the next head coach of Colorado. But yeah, Bear Felica, guy was behind the scenes for
Love
27 years. Sports gambling gets legalized. They toss him on the camera. They're like, Fox is like, hey, he's got glasses, sports betting. He's got a following. We'll give him some money. Sure.
Well, he's always been the nicest guy. When we finally got a hold of him, he came on anytime we needed him. Whether it be horse racing, anything else, he jumped on. So, big fan of the Bear. So, Fox Sports doing what they got to do. Too bad. Locally, I heard some schlub is going to be running the radio station locally.
Do you have any advice for the end of the show?
Yeah. Here's my advice to everyone. Right, two things. Two pieces of advice. If you were to run a sports franchise radio station or anything like that, you probably should call me first. That's one. Two, never give me a secret you don't want out early. That's just silly. Congrats, guys.